been a long time coming, but we're finally outside and we're going to be doing our barbecue series. This is going to be a fantastic series focusing on pretty much everything that I can do. And this right here is the Weber Spirit range. It's an absolutely incredible barbecue. It has so many cool features, which I'll run you through in all of the different videos. Stuff like this would not be possible without you, and I really appreciate all of the love and support. And that's why I am proudly now partnered with Weber. This is an absolutely incredible opportunity, and seriously, thank you all so much. This first episode is going to be focusing on how to cook the perfect steak. I'm going to run you through all of the cool features on this barbecue and what it can do. And this right here is a 350 gram Scotch fillet. It's also known as ribeye, and obviously it doesn't have the bone on it. So let's get straight into the kitchen and we can prepare this bad boy. Just before we get into the kitchen, let's turn on our gas bottle and turn this onto a high heat on all of the knobs. This is going to ensure everything gets nice and hot. Crank it over to spark it up, then shut the lid to ensure this remains hot. One of my favorite features on this barbecue is the thermostat. This is going to show the internal temperature of the barbecue, and it also connects over to the free Weber Connect app, which is available on iOS and Android. And on this, you can see the internal temperature. You can set reminders, set certain temperatures, and it will just send you a notification on your phone when everything is at the correct temperature. Now, getting into the kitchen, like I said in the intro, this is a 350 gram Scotch fillet. It's also known as ribeye, which obviously doesn't have the bone in. And this has been out of the fridge for about 45 minutes to allow it to come to room temperature, which will help it cook evenly. Now, seasoning is completely up to you. You can go with a simple salt and pepper mix, but I'm going to be using the Weber steak seasoning. It's a delicious blend of herbs and spices, has a little bit of sweetness to it, as well as a little bit of kick, but it's completely up to you. With the steak, drizzle over a little bit of neutral flavored oil. This is going to ensure that the rub stays on it. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, and you can also use butter. Then we're going to generously season this with that steak seasoning, or you can use salt and pepper like I said. I am going to season this quite generously, but this is going to ensure that we get the most flavor out of this, and we're also going to want to rub the steak on the plate or whatever vessel you're using to season this, just to ensure that the seasoning gets stuck on all sides. I also want to quickly elaborate on what I mean by allowing the steak to come to room temperature. It will help it cook a lot more evenly, but if you place this onto a grill or in a pan whilst it's cold, the muscle fibers will tense up, and no matter the quality of the steak or cut, it won't be as tender as it should be. Going back out to the barbecue, it's now at 270 degrees Celsius where we want it. I'm going to plug in the meat temperature probe, which is going to tell us the internal temperature of the meat once it's connected. Obviously, if you don't have this, I highly recommend using a thermometer. This is going to ensure we get accuracy every time. With that out of the way, our barbecue's at temperature and everything's ready to go. We can then place our steak onto the grill, push it down a little bit so it gets those grill marks, and obviously I'm going to be plugging in that probe, which is going to tell us the internal temperature of the steak. Let's then cook this for 1.5 minutes with the lid down. Then open up the lid, and we're going to rotate this 45 degrees just so it gets those grill marks evenly all over. Then repeat that 1.5 minutes, shutting the lid down to get this nicely cooked. With that done, flip the steak over, preferably placing it onto a new section of the grill plate, and repeat that 1.5 minutes on each 45 degree angle with the lid down. Drizzle over a little bit of unsalted butter, which is completely optional to produce more flavor. Then remove at 49 degrees Celsius, which is going to increase the heat whilst we rest for about 10 minutes to an internal temperature of 52 degrees, which is the perfect medium rare. I have also included some temperature guides here. Everyone likes steaks differently, so here's all of the internal temperatures and resting times. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to quickly make a salsa verde. You don't have to use this, you can serve it with whatever you want. But this is super easy to make just by adding 25 grams of basil leaves to a blender bowl, along with 25 grams of mint leaves and 25 grams of flat leaf parsley. 30 grams of both cornichons and capers are also being added for a briny tanginess and floral tartness. 40 milliliters of red wine vinegar for acidity, and you can use malt vinegar if you can't consume alcohol. Sea salt flakes to taste, and cracked black pepper. 20 cracks worth. Let's then place on a lid nice and tight so you don't have food flying all over your kitchen. Place it onto a high speed and blend until everything is evenly broken down, and you will have to scrape the sides down too. Once it's all broken up, slowly pour in enough extra virgin olive oil till it comes to a pourable but thick consistency, and there's no correct measurement, just keep going to your desired liking. We can then get this out of the blender, pouring it into any clean glass jar you have or container, or put it into a bowl and serve it alongside the steak. But what we're then left with is this beautiful salsa verde, and this is just a variation of it. Lots of people do this differently. They add mustards and all sorts of different flavors to this, but this right here will last up to 1.5 weeks in the fridge. Okay, going back to the best bit, the steak is now rested. I'm going to slice this in half for presentational purposes, but look at that internal color. That is absolutely incredible. It's super pink, which is the perfect medium rare, and those juices have distributed so well. For the purpose of this video, I am going to continue slicing this into strips. Obviously, you can serve this however you like. I usually just have the whole steak on a plate with any side dish, but this is going to go really well with that salsa verde that we're going to just drizzle over the top. We can then just grab a single slice, pick up that extra salsa verde, and of course, we can then dig in. That is absolutely incredible. There isn't anything else I can say about this other than to try it for yourself. It is absolutely delicious. Thanks a lot for all of the love and support over the years. It really makes these things come to life. Stuff like this would not happen if it wasn't for you guys, and I really do appreciate everything you do. Thanks for watching.